Popeye's Premiere is a Popeye cartoon from 1949. This is directed by Dave Fleischer, Seymour Kneitel, and Dave Tendlar. It's written by Bill Turner and Isadore Klein, with a voice cast including Jackson Beck, Jack Mercer, and Mae Questel. And to be honest, it's not good. It's definitely a cop-out. It definitely feels like a very quick way of trying to get some money by capitalizing on footage that already exists. And this is because it's a story within a story, because Popeye is at the movie theatre, and those scenes are okay. I have no problems with them. And he's watching the Aladdin cartoon, the Popeye Aladdin cartoon from the 30s. And honestly, the bulk of it is just that cartoon, and every now and then we'll cut to Popeye, and I don't want to say exactly what happens there, as I don't want to spoil it too much. Obviously, if you've already seen the Aladdin cartoon and then you watch this, you've already seen the bulk of it, so I don't want to give away too much. But the new footage is absolutely fine. It just really heavily relies on Aladdin and his wonderful lamp. And while there's nothing necessarily wrong with that animation, if you've seen it once, you really don't necessarily need to watch it again in this cartoon. It doesn't add anything new to the cartoon other than occasionally cutting to Popeye watching it. Had it been more focused on Popeye and less on the cartoon, Popeye in the movie theatre, then it might have been a little bit better, but that's not what happens. So I didn't really care for it. Sure, one could argue that if this aired on television in the 1940s, it could have been a good decade since people last saw Aladdin and his wonderful lamp. If that's the case, there is an argument for that. But at the same time, I would imagine, I could be wrong, but I'd imagine they'd have repeats, they'd have reruns. They wouldn't just show it once, then never show it again. And I always just feel like unless you're adding something really interesting to it, don't reuse footage and then just put a few extra scenes in to try and make it seem like a new cartoon. Occasionally it can work, but it really doesn't here. Do I recommend it? I guess. If you're a Popeye fan, yes, check it out. The new footage that's in this is not too bad. In fact, it's pretty decent. I have no issues with the footage that's in this to help bulk out the story. But Aladdin is not necessarily one of my favourite Popeye cartoons. Anyway, I didn't necessarily ever want to watch it another time. I mean, I might have done eventually, but I certainly wasn't that enthusiastic about it. And then I realised that's what this is, and I gave it a chance. I was hoping that maybe we'd have a lot of new footage and they'd just kind of lean into the Aladdin one as a way of kind of telling the story. But that's not what happens. It's very heavily relying on the Aladdin one. So for me, I didn't love it. I didn't think it was brilliant. Maybe check it out, but if you've seen the other one and you're not that bothered about it, then Popeye's Premiere is probably not worth watching.